Just imagine this. You bought a car with a balloon payment of 90,000 rands, and your plan is to sell the car at the end of the loan term to settle the balloon. Let's say for some weird reason your car gets written off in a bad accident few months before the end of your loan term. Then you try to put up a claim with your insurer, and for some fucked up reason your claim gets rejected. So basically your car is gone, and now you are stuck with a 90,000 rands balloon with no car to sell. Today we are going to be looking at things that could cause your insurance claim to be rejected. Welcome to another video. Factor number one is special conditions and or restrictions. Most people don't read terms and conditions when they sign up for stuff. Some do read, but they don't read to understand. They just read for fun. They are reading a newspaper. Sometimes you go through the terms and conditions thoroughly, but the English in there is just too big for you to digest. So you end up just signing without understanding the implications of those conditions. So that's where I come in to simplify things for everyone. The first popular condition is pre-insurance inspection. All second-hand cars and some new cars, depending on the insurer, have to go for pre-insurance inspection before you can be fully covered. So you are normally given around 14 days to do the insurance inspection, and with some insurers there's a specific center where you have to go for the insurance inspection, and then the center will send the certificate to your insurer. And with some companies you can just do the inspection with your phone using an app and just take pictures of your car and your license disc and whatnot. The reason why they do this is so that they can know the condition of the car they are insuring. Because some people are clever, they can just insure a car that's already fucked up. So in just few days they go and claim to say, no, now my car is damaged until the car was already messed up. So the insurer wants to know the condition of the car they are insuring. Hence you have to go for the pre-insurance inspection. So they normally check for dents, scratches and chips on the windscreen, and if there's any pre-existing damage, that damage won't be covered by the insurance. For the first 14 days you will have full insurance cover, but then if the pre-insurance inspection is not done after the 14 days, you will lose accident cover. So when your car is involved in an accident, you won't be covered. Your insurance will be only limited to theft. I know someone who bought a second-hand car, and he was supposed to go for the pre-insurance inspection, and for some reason he didn't do it, and he was involved in an accident and the car was written off, and you already know what happened next. Luckily for him, he took his matter to the ombudsman and he won the case. I don't know how he argued his case, because the insurance was right for rejecting his claim because he didn't fulfill the conditions of the police. Under special conditions, we also have the issue of a tracker, because a tracking device is a prerequisite for some insurers. So they will also give you the 14 days period, because normally a car doesn't leave a dealership without insurance. So you often sign up for insurance before you can even get your car from the dealership, so it won't have a tracker installed. So they will give you 14 days to install a tracker. So again, for the first 14 days you will have full insurance cover, but if the tracker is not installed after 14 days and your car gets stolen and not recovered, no one is gonna pay you, because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And it is your responsibility to ensure that your tracker is working properly at all times, because sometimes you may have a tracker but the unit is faulty, so when your car gets stolen it can't be located. When it comes to restrictions, some insurers don't cover drivers who only have a learner's license, and also people who are under the age of 25 are not covered for certain cars by some insurers. So you should be mindful of that at all times. There's also the issue of cover when you decide to take your car outside South Africa, because you can't just wake up and decide to drive to Mozambique. You must first inform your insurer, because you may find that your car is not covered in certain countries. Now let's move on to factor number 2, which is false information. Even if you are a chronic liar, you should ensure that you don't lie when you communicate with your insurer, because they can use legal details to reject your claim. For instance, your accident claim can be rejected for reasons that have nothing to do with the accident itself. Let's say you were involved in an accident on Monday at 5 a.m. and the previous night you were at Propaganda, the Bua Strong, and then you try to put up a claim with your insurer and they ask you, where were you the night before the accident? And that question sounds so innocent, you wouldn't think it's a catch. And just because you are used to lying to your girlfriends, you may think, I can just somehow answer anyhow. Then you just lie and say you were sleeping in your apartment, only to find that the records from your tracker won't correlate with the story of you sleeping in your apartment. Then they will ask you, how is it that you were sleeping in your apartment, but according to the records from your tracker, your car was at Propaganda at 12 midnight and 5 hours later you happened to be involved in an accident. Then you scratch your head and say, hey, I don't remember very well. The thing is, hey, now you have self-induced amnesia. So when you are putting up a claim, it is very important that you give accurate information, and also the less you say, the better. Don't give them too much information. I have a friend who once hit a car with a Polo around Boma 7. It was already dark, and he came to me the next day to assist him with putting up a claim, and he was using budget insurance, and those guys were asking all sorts of silly questions, man. You could tell they were trying to find something small in Yana just to reject the claim. They first asked, was there any oil leakage after the accident? And I was like, do you think a sane person will be inspecting for the oil leakage after being involved in an accident when it's already dark? Then they asked, did the car swerve when you were trying to brake? And I'm like, these guys. I lost it when they asked, were there tire marks at the scene of the accident to show that he was trying to brake? And I was like, hey Batu, the poor guy just hit a car and he has insurance. Just pay him, for crying out loud.